Hey there guys, Mitchell here from Broswagger.com, and in this video what I want to talk about is how to text a girl. So if you're out there in the modern dating world, you likely know by now that you will need to use some texting from time to time to set up plans and just to communicate with a girl. And in this video I'm going to tell you guys everything you will ever need to know about texting a girl. So in my opinion guys, early on anyways, you should always text a girl as opposed to calling her. Some women won't even pick up their phones for a guy they hardly know, and it's fine definitely to call her once you get to know her a little bit, but I believe early on you should always just communicate with her through text. So another tip here guys, I believe you should take it very easy with the texting early on. Again, you can start calling a woman or you can start texting her more as you get to know her better and as you two start to like each other more, but early on, I really believe you should take it easy with this. You really just don't need to be dropping random texts all day long to a woman you hardly know. And in fact, sometimes if you start sending too many texts before a first date, it could just cause her to overthink things and maybe she just won't even meet up at all. So just play it cool and she'll meet up for the date. So one huge advantage of texting here, guys, that's just very quick and simple. You don't need to be calling her and trying to catch her at the perfect time. If you want a woman to come over that night, all you got to say is like, hey, hope you're having a great day. You want to come over for a movie tonight at 8? And she can just reply back when she gets a chance. So you don't have to catch her at the perfect moment, to try and set things up. Now, one drawback to texting, and this can be a huge drawback depending on your personality type, but I tend to have a witty, sarcastic type of humor. This is fine whenever women can see, my body language, see my facial expressions, and hear my voice tonality. But through texting, it's just a totally different ball game. So sometimes guys, you miss like an exclamation point, or it's just sometimes you miss a word even, and a text that was kind of intended to be a little funny, it ends up coming off as very basically like rude or arrogant instead. So when it comes to texting, guys, I'm just a huge believer in just kind of taking it easy with the smiley faces. It's definitely fine to send one out here and there, but you don't need to be putting like a wink or a smiley face after every send. And when you do this, you typically just come off as a huge dork. Also, when it comes to texting, take it easy with the jokes. It's definitely fine to send a funny joke here and there, and it can kind of brighten up, your day or the woman's day whenever you're kind of sending like some funny text back and forth. But don't think like every text has to be really funny, guys. This is just a huge mistake to make. And then what you start doing is you think you have to start outdoing yourself. Like you just got to start getting funnier and funnier every text. And then, you can send out some really weird texts sometimes. So keep in mind, sending texts, it's really just not a time to start basically, practicing for your next stand-up gig. So one thing I really want to stress now, guys, is don't pay any attention to these weird texting rules. So you'll often read online like where guys are encouraged, to wait so long before you text a woman back. If she takes 10 minutes to reply back, you take 15 or 20 minutes, and this is just such silly advice. I really want to talk specifically right now about whenever a woman texts you back very fast. So there's no need to play really hard to get. If you ask her for a date and she replies back like instantly, just within like a minute or two, reply back as well. So I've made this mistake before where I'm trying to play really hard to get, and actually caused me a couple times of women just straight up, they just made other plans because they're like, this guy's taking like 3 or 4 hours to text back. I guess he's just not that interested. So just totally ignore stuff like that. If she texts you back and your hands are fully capable of functioning at the moment, text her right back as well. And also another thing I want to talk about here is, texting less words than she texted. And again, this is just really silly advice. You got to make sure your text makes sense. And trust me guys, a woman is not going to bail on a date because you texted more words than she did. So the next tip here, guys, is to stop texting her and get her out on the date. And I just can't tell you guys how many times I've heard women complain about this over the years. And this is especially true when it comes to like using online dating apps. Oftentimes questions will get brought up when you're on a first date with a woman that you met through an online dating service. And oftentimes the questions will be like, how long have you been using it? How many people did you meet? What do you think of it so far? And I actually really recommend never asking these questions, unless a woman asks them. And, however, though, if a woman does ask these questions on a date, I typically flip the table and ask her the same things. And you'd be surprised at how many times women will say, well, a lot of women, to be honest, they will say, well, there's a lot of creepy guys on the site, don't know what to think of it. But a lot of times they'll say, well, I don't know, this is actually like my first date, I don't know what to think of this site yet. I've talked to quite a few guys before, but they never actually asked me on a date. They just kept texting me. So, you know, if she wants to go on a date with you and it seems like it's really moving along, guys, then just ask her out on a date and stop texting her, and she'll just feel so much more relieved that you did that. So moving along here, guys, I just really want to stress the importance of this too, and that is just that women don't care how skilled of a texter you are. You know, women are not going around bragging to their friends or co-workers about how tight your text game is. You know, a woman's not going to break up with you to find a guy who can, you know, fulfill her texting fantasies. So, you know, don't think that this is really something that's having like a huge impact on your success with women. As I said, I don't really believe like having really great texting skills is really going to just advance you too far with women. But as I said, if you start fooling around too much, this can actually backfire for you. So the final point I want to make here, guys, is to relax. So don't put too much thought into a woman's response time with a text. We've all been there before. You know, you send her a text and the next thing you know, like 30 minutes pass, it's an hour, then it's 2 hours, then it's 3 hours. She hasn't responded back, and you're just kind of like almost pulling your hair. You're thinking like, oh, what happened? Like, you know, is it over between us? So I want to actually share with you guys some reasons why she may not reply right away. Her phone died. A family emergency came up. She's working and didn't see the text right away. She's playing a little hard to get, so sometimes this can happen as well, guys. She fell asleep. She's in an area with no cell reception. So you asked her on a date, and she needs to confirm that that time or date actually works for her. She doesn't check her phone very often. She lost her phone. She left her phone at home that morning and was just in a huge rush to work, and therefore, you know, she probably received the text, but it's just sitting on her counter at home. Her phone isn't working properly. You made a statement in your text, there was really no question in it, and therefore there was really just no reason for her to respond back. She really likes you and is nervous about texting you back. And finally, guys, you know, something that's not so great, but obviously a very realistic possibility, she's just really not that interested in you and she doesn't want to be rude about this. So there you have it, guys, everything you'll ever need to know about texting. I think if you put these tips into place, you'll find that you get a lot more women out on dates and you spend a lot less time texting them. Hey, so if you like this video, give it a thumbs up, hit the subscribe button below. Thanks for watching and have a great day.